So we have an extra person on the couch with us this morning. He's a familiar face to many of you, and it's Anthony Peoples. He's back with our weather team, and next week he'll be part of our morning show team. Very excited to see how that all comes together. But first, we have some questions for you.
Okay.
So everyone here is obviously very excited to have you back, but when were you last here?
I've been in the Quad Cities. It was 20 years ago this month that I moved to the Quad Cities. I worked at another station for 7 years and was here at WHBF, Local 4, our Quad Cities.
Yeah.
You know, we've gone through a few name changes. For 4 years. I left back in 2017.
Okay, and what have you been doing?
I left here for Panama City, and Quad Cities, I'll tell you, it was the biggest mistake I ever made. One of the regrets. I don't have a lot of regrets in my life, but it's one of the ones that I have. I spent a year there, 2 years in snowy Duluth, Minnesota.
Okay.
Oh.
And then I was in Decatur, Central Illinois for 5.5 years, had the opportunity to come back, and so here I am.
Awesome. All right.
There you go. All right, and now how has the Quad Cities, in your opinion, how has it changed since you've last been here, buddy?
Well, you know, there's been a lot of new development, which is always good. You know, when you have economic development across the city, progression, it's always good. And, you know, I love the new I-74 bridge.
Yes.
Oh, yes,
Absolutely
it's
gorgeous
very nice.
and safe now.
Yes.
So, you know, 'cause that was always a concern back in the day, but it's absolutely gorgeous.
And those lights at night too,
Yes.
how they light up, so pretty.
Very pretty.
What are you most excited though about being back in the Quad Cities?
You know, I've been in this business for going on almost 30 years. Many jobs, many communities across the country, but I've never had the position to move back where people may already know me. You know, usually you move to a new market, you have to establish yourself, gain the credibility, gain the trust of the viewers. But, you know, people, when I left the last time, they stayed in touch across the miles. So that's good. It's nice to have a little built-in friendship out there with the people across the Quad Cities.
That's awesome to have.
Yeah, and like having those more connections, you know, I'm sure a lot of people are watching right now. It's like, hey, I remember this. It's Anthony.
Yeah, his hair looks a little grayer than it did 7, 8 years ago. But, you know, it's great to be back with Andy. He's been one of my favorite chief meteorologists, favorite bosses over the years. Sean, it's going to be a pleasure getting to know you.
Yeah, it's going to be a pleasure getting to know yourself.
You know, the thing about the morning show, the evening show, the weekend shows, we rarely see each other except in severe weather events. But if we have severe weather, you'll see us all together, you know, keeping you safe. But it's great to be back.
Yeah, all right. And now, of course, the weather guy's got to ask this question.
Okay.
What is your favorite type of weather to forecast or just kind of experience?
I love winter storms because there's so many variables involved. You know, if you have 32 degrees, 33 degrees, 34 degrees, it's the difference between a cold rain, freezing rain, or heavy snow. So winter forecasting is my favorite, so I moved back in the perfect time.
I was going to say it makes
Right
the most
on time
sense.
for that, yes.
It makes a lot of sense that you moved from Florida back to Duluth.
Yeah, you know, and Duluth, it was amazing. You know, it could get very cold up there. You know, hundreds of inches of snow. You know, we had a Thanksgiving blizzard one year I was there. I left my car by the garage, and the next morning it was totally covered because of the wind blowing it off. So I spent my day off digging my car, literally digging my car out.
Gosh.
But, you know, I love snow, forecasting snow, so it's great to be back in the Quad Cities.
Awesome.